that was Finster. Yes, you're happy? Okay. Well, so, hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Ooh, she's running around. Here with the new classical music alphabet. And we're up to the letter J, and J's got some great names in it. Oh boy, we're going to have a blast with J. I is a little complicated, but J, I have a feeling you guys are going to just knock it out of the park. I really do. But here are my 3 picks for the 3 great J's. Obviously, Josquin de Prez, 1450 to 1521. Now, we have a little issue here because Josquin is his first name, but everyone calls him Josquin. No one calls him de Prez, ever. I've never heard it in my life. He is Josquin, the Josquin. And so that's what we're going with. He is one of those exceptions that proves the rule. I know there was some, like, smart aleck who was giving lists that begin with composers' first names, but they're all gone. And so is the person who was doing it. You know, I can take a joke, but, you know, we're trying to do something, well, if not serious, at least, you know, sticking with the program for the purpose of others who are going to come along and see this. And so I can take as much smart alecky stuff, you know, up to the point where I can't take it anymore. And we reached that point about around letter L, I guess. I don't know. One of those letters. But anyway, but Josquin is one of those composers who is a first name guy. And so you have to go, he's a J. He goes in the J's. Everyone will know what you're talking about. If you look at someone and say, oh, I love de Prez, they're going to look at you like, huh? Anyway, Josquin was the greatest composer of his age. You know, really, or one of the greatest composers of his age. He was extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. His music is gorgeous. I love his music. And all of his masses have been recorded, by the way, by the Tallis Scholars. And, you know, they feature on this particular case, too, his Missa Ave Maris Stella, which is just so beautiful. Oh, my God. I mean, I first heard it, I think I was in high school. And it was just one of those pieces that was in one of our, like, back in the days when they had music appreciation. Remember that? They had a piece of this thing, and it just knocked me flat. I mean, it was so gorgeous. So that is the recording I think you should have with the Tallis Scholars on Gimmel. And if you like it, well, you know, Josquin is one of the masters of this era who has been well served on disc. You recall in the Eyes, I chose Heinrich Isaac, who was a contemporary of Josquin and who was absolutely as well known and really just as good, or maybe he's more prolific, but he's far less well represented on disc than Josquin. People have just decided that, you know, Josquin is the voice of his age. And who might argue with that? I'm all for it. So there you go. Josquin is your first J. Second J, Scott Joplin. I think Joplin is pathetically underrated. I mean, he was not, all that prolific. His output consists of essentially Treemonisha, the opera, and other things, and then 4 or 5 discs worth of solo piano works. But, I mean, hell, if Chopin could get away with it, why can't Joplin? I don't see why not. He was a true musical original, one of the founders of ragtime, forerunner of jazz, a really accomplished composer, I think, you know, for the keyboard. His music is incredibly popular and extremely beautiful and really fun to play. I mean, I've done some of it. And the performances to get, of course, are Dick Hyman, on RCA, which finally got re-released. Oh my God, you would think it took like forever for them to release all of it. Formerly, there was just one disc of excerpts of some of the more popular pieces. But I think that Joplin definitely belongs on the list of keyboard masters from the 19th century, from any country whatsoever. And his dates were 1868 to 1917. Beautiful, beautiful music. And last but hardly least, Janáček. Oh, God, yeah, we got to do Janáček, 1854 to 1928. It's very interesting. He was older than Joplin, but he actually was a real 20th century composer because he didn't really come into his own until after the turn of the 20th century. And, most of his great works, which were operas and a few other orchestral and chamber pieces, were all composed in the 1910s and 20s, right up to the point at which he died at the age of, he was 74, and he was totally vibrant and vital. He caught pneumonia and died suddenly. But he was an amazing composer. And if you really want to get the essence of Janáček, a true original, you have to get one of the operas. You just do. I mean, there are fabulous other pieces, and I know some of you will probably include them on your lists, like the string quartets or the Sinfonietta or the Glagolitic Mass and all those wonderful things. But the Cunning Little Vixen, the first major opera based on a comic strip where the characters are all animals. I mean, wow, isn't that great? And the music is enchanting, and it's the most hauntingly beautiful opera about the cycle of life, and it actually, they're animals, and it's a comic strip, and you wind up just a quivering puddle by the time it's over. It's so humane. Janáček was just the master at expressing deep, profound emotion in a tiny little space very quickly. And the recording to get is the Charles Mackerras version with the Vienna Philharmonic on Decca, with a terrific ensemble cast of soloists. There really aren't any major roles. There's the gamekeeper, and then there's the Vixen. I mean, those are sort of the big ones, but it's an ensemble piece with all kinds of critters and people running around and doing things. You've got poachers and game wardens and foxes and badgers and dragonflies, and it's impossible to describe, except that the Vixen gets shot and made into a muff in the third act. And it's the only opera I've ever seen where the lead soprano has to defecate on the burrow of another character. It's earthy. I mean, it's earthy and serious and magical all at the same time. And it's music like nothing else you've ever heard. It glows and pulsates with life and with the intoxicating perfume of nature and the forest and the eternal cycle of renewal. And that, it'll just slay you. So Janáček is definitely one of the big letter J's. And now I turn it over to you. Remember, pick a composer and pick a typical recording and have at it. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.